This whole thing started with a simple gesture of, let's give this school some clay and see what sort of ripples it makes. My whole experience with Hebron and NDSU and working with clay all started in 2008 when I was deployed as a combat medic. I was overseas and things were getting really bad. It was very scary. We were on some new routes that were really intense. I wasn't sure I was going to survive. I didn't know if I was going to make it back home. At the time, my brother was taking a ceramics class at NDSU, and the ceramics professor there, David Swenson, and he both decided to send me 15 pounds of clay from that class.
My name is David Swenson. I'm a professor at North Dakota State University in the Department of Visual Arts. The whole idea of a connection to clay for me began when I was a kid. I grew up on a lake and we would go dig clay out of the banks of the channel and take it home and bake it in the oven and make just funny little things. And then ever since then, I've been in love with making things. Read a book about a Japanese ceramic artist named Shoji Yamada. It really impressed me in how they got the clay from a local source, built a whole ritual around clay. So I started teaching at NDSU in 1994, working in the ceramics department, and we were just using clay that you buy commercially. I always wanted to find a source of clay to bring into the department and teach students about that connection to the earth, that connection to the material that they were using, why it was important, where it came from, being a part of that process.
This clay that NDSU uses in their classes, it comes from North Dakota. It's actually donated by Hebron Brick from their factory. It goes to NDSU and they turn it into like a workable art medium. My family, we're all farmers, and we have this connection to the land, and I think that when I received that 15 pounds of clay that was shipped in a black garbage bag, solid chunk of clay somehow made it to me through how many layers of people looking for things that might be flagged as dangerous. Somehow it made it to me. When I got that clay, I put my hands into it, and it made me feel okay. It made me not think about anything else, just what my hands were doing. And it was that moment that I knew, if I make it out of this, I'm just gonna do this because this is what makes me happy. I put aside all my other decisions that I was gonna make for my life. I wanted to do this, and I wanted to see it through.
I started with Hebron Brick in the summer of 2000. A couple years after I started, we started to see these clay bins show up. Didn't really know what was going on yet. I think Dave and our former owner Rodney had worked out a little deal.
Yeah, I took the owner to lunch one day and asked if we could buy the clay for the department, and he told me no. I was so disappointed at first. He said, but we'll give it to you for free. You just have to make the containers that will ship it back and forth from the plant to the local brickyard. I said, done, I will do that.
So the very beginning of it was, these clay bins would show up from NDSU empty, and Dave would bring in a box of Sandy's Donuts. So it was always a good day when Dave was dropping off the bins to get more clay. We would send them back to the plant, and they would come back full, and we would get them back to NDSU. And that was kind of the beginning of my early remembering of how the partnership started with NDSU.
I think it was 2002 or 2003 that we started getting clay from Hebron Brick Company in the department. And this is really important to me in a way that we were using a material that was locally sourced from North Dakota at a North Dakota institution, and learning about where your material comes from, how that might be a part of your life or where you grew up. It's something that's just local instead of just something that comes from across the world.
It's very easy for Hebron to be able to donate just the simple clay for the arts program. I coin the term North Dakota Proud all the time, and when we look at different situations like this, that these students are able to use something that we have in Hebron, North Dakota, gives us a sense of that North Dakota pride, and our employees out there that are able to see products that they've made and just feel that we're able to contribute something out there with a raw material that we have is just a good feeling for all of us in the company.
I think it's pretty special that when you look at what it starts out as, just the clay in the ground, the story with Josh receiving the clay, firing up his ceramics career, and then him working at Hebron and now at NDSU. I mean, that's coming full circle.
I gotta give some credit to Hebron as someone who is a visual artist coming in to work for them. They gave me a lot of opportunities to to utilize my abilities as a creative. They hired on someone with a Master of Fine Arts degree into a retail and manufacturing and landscape design company. They offered me all sorts of opportunities to use my creative brains. It was really cool to be a part of the NDSU's process. David would call me when they needed more clay, and then I would try to get that lined up. So I got to be like in the middle of making sure that they got the supplies they need.
I think every area, every state, every brick plant has a clay that's unique to them. It makes Hebron colors unique versus another brick company's colors unique. Obviously the location for NDSU, it's been great. They call it white plastic clay that they've been getting for all these years, works best for what they like to do in the ceramics department.
Every year they would do a wood firing. I would bring in employees from Hebron to say, hey, you guys gotta come check this out. This is where the stuff that we donate to them goes, and this is a wonderful firing process that lasts several days. Let's go check out a super cool fire. It's a very unique, one-of-a-kind structure that was designed by David Swenson.
We spent about 7 years total building the kiln. All the exterior brick on the outside of the kiln is from Hebron's Hebron brick. That was also really important to me, that we had a Hebron material in the kiln itself.
And I'm a shift manager during these wood firing processes. It's like a 6-hour shift where we're just pumping wood into this kiln to fire these North Dakota clay, Hebron brick clay pots.
This firing is completely analog. There's no meters, there's no digital temperature gauges. We're all just like trying to figure out the right amount of wood, making sure that all the ember bed down here is at the right levels.
I get to tell them about where I work, what I do. I get to share my story with them, and I'm an open book.
I'm okay, you're okay, we're okay. Great job.
I like to tie like my military career and discovering clay and going to NDSU, and as they're all NDSU students, I can start to see them. They're like, this is a cool story. I'm glad that I'm going here.
This is what's awesome about this. You cannot fire this style by yourself. You have to have teams, and you have to have it going 24 hours a day. There's no other version of ceramics that requires so much.
It seems like a small donation for us at Hebron, but I think the impact it has with NDSU and students and what that clay can turn into on their end is just amazing. But then when you drive through NDSU campus and you look at the impact that the Hebron clay can have, like I say, from those little items to some of the iconic buildings on NDSU's campus are all Hebron brick. So it's such a small scale to large scale buildings. I just think it's great when you drive around campus and see those buildings up.
The backbone of Hebron brick with our products lends itself to architectural very well, whether it's product on a wall or raw clay that's going to sculpture. The ability to have our products and raw materials in the state of North Dakota visible to the world is pretty important to us.
Hebron Brick is the oldest manufacturing company in North Dakota. It's more than just a brick company now. We've really evolved. We have 7 retail locations in North and South Dakota and 1 in Minnesota. Yes, we've got the brick and the block and all the masonry supplies that people traditionally think that Hebron has, but now we've also added steel siding. We have a fireplace division. We have a landscape division. We sell furniture and pergolas and pavilions, outdoor kitchens. There's so much more that Hebron can offer besides the brick and block that everyone normally thinks of us. As Hebron Brick continues to grow, as we add locations, as we keep adding products, it's really important for us to maintain that tie with NDSU, continue to donate that clay. That's, like I say, as we grow, those things are still important to us, and that can continue for years.
So it's an amazing gift. Being able to provide that for the students is really important to me. We've gotten so much clay for over 20 years for the students to work with, for me to work with, and to see how that affected Josh. You couldn't make that up. You couldn't even think of how important that has been to him. As a teacher, even if you just get to do that for one person in your teaching career, that's an amazing gift.